In the depths of the British Museum, beneath layers of dust and scholarly indifference, lies a papyrus fragment that should never have survived. Its hieroglyphics speak of a serpent coiled around the sun itself, carrying it across the sky each day. For millennia, scholars dismissed this as mere mythology, a poetic fancy of ancient minds seeking to explain celestial mechanics. Yet what if the ancients were not inventing metaphor, but recording history? What if the serpent that carried the sun was not a god, but a being, a consciousness so vast and incomprehensible that it transcended the boundaries between myth and reality? What if this single, overlooked artifact held the key to rewriting the entire timeline of human civilization? Marcus, a linguist whose life had been devoted to deciphering dead languages, stumbled upon this fragment quite by accident. He had been cataloging a private collection when his fingers brushed against the papyrus, and something within him stirred, a recognition so profound it felt like remembering a dream half forgotten upon waking. His entire career had been marked by a peculiar obsession with serpent symbolism across cultures, a thread that appeared in Mesoamerican codices, in Hindu cosmology, in Aboriginal Dreamtime narratives, and in the oldest Sumerian texts. Each culture, separated by vast oceans and millennia, spoke of the same fundamental truth: a serpent of immense power, intimately connected to the sun and the cycles of creation. This was no coincidence, no mere convergence of human imagination. It was a memory, a collective echo of something real, something that had shaped the very foundation of human consciousness. Marcus felt the weight of this realization settle upon him like a mantle, and he knew with absolute certainty that his life had been leading to this moment. The call was undeniable, a siren song emanating from the depths of forgotten time, urging him to seek the truth that lay beneath the comfortable surface of accepted history. Marcus's journey into the heart of this mystery began with a pilgrimage to the oldest temples and sacred sites, following the trail of serpent symbolism like a detective pursuing a phantom. He traveled to the Temple of Dendera in Egypt, where the zodiac on the ceiling held secrets that conventional Egyptology refused to acknowledge. He journeyed to the ruins of Teotihuacan in Mexico, where the feathered serpent's pyramid seemed to pulse with an ancient energy. He visited the sacred sites of India, where the Naga, the divine serpent, was revered as a guardian of cosmic knowledge. At each location, he encountered fragments of a larger narrative, pieces of a puzzle that seemed to defy conventional chronology. The resistance he faced was multifaceted and often subtle. Within himself, the rational mind, trained in academic rigor, fought against the implications of what he was discovering. "This is pseudoscience," it whispered, "a descent into the realm of conspiracy and delusion." Fear gripped him as he began to understand the magnitude of what he was uncovering, the potential to overturn centuries of established historical narrative. Externally, the academic establishment, once his sanctuary, became increasingly hostile. Colleagues dismissed his research as the ravings of an obsessed mind. Journals rejected his papers without review. Funding for his expeditions mysteriously dried up. He discovered that certain organizations, shadowy and powerful, seemed invested in keeping this knowledge buried. He experienced the loss of his academic position, the fracturing of relationships with those who could not follow him into this realm of forbidden knowledge. Yet each obstacle only strengthened his resolve. Each setback a confirmation that he was drawing closer to a truth that powerful forces wished to remain hidden. The breakthrough came in a hidden chamber beneath the Great Sphinx, a place that official archaeology denied even existed. Through a network of sympathetic scholars and esoteric researchers, Marcus had gained access to this subterranean sanctuary, a space that seemed to exist outside of time itself. The walls were covered with astronomical charts of breathtaking precision, depicting not just the stars as they appeared in ancient times, but the actual movements of celestial bodies across vast epochs. And there, in the center of the chamber, was a crystalline structure of impossible geometry, pulsing with a faint, internal luminescence. As Marcus approached it, his consciousness expanded, and he was pulled into a vision of staggering clarity. He witnessed the arrival of the Serpent, not as a mythological entity, but as a conscious being of pure energy, a cosmic intelligence that had chosen to guide the development of human civilization. He saw it coiling around the sun, not physically, but dimensionally, existing in a realm adjacent to our own, maintaining the delicate balance that allowed life to flourish on Earth. He witnessed ancient humans, their consciousness elevated by proximity to this being, receiving knowledge and wisdom that allowed them to build civilizations of remarkable sophistication. He saw the moment when this being began to withdraw as humanity's consciousness shifted, as the veil between dimensions thickened, leaving behind only myths and legends as testimony to its existence. The revelation was cataclysmic, a complete shattering of his understanding of human history. He realized that the entire timeline of civilization, as taught in universities, was fundamentally incomplete, missing an entire dimension of causality. The serpent that carried the sun was not a god to be worshipped, but a teacher, a guide, a consciousness that had invested itself in humanity's evolution. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our content. And tell us in the comments where you are watching from. We would love to know. The intensity of the vision left Marcus profoundly transformed. He emerged from the chamber, but not unchanged. The crystalline structure had imprinted something upon his consciousness, a resonance that would forever alter his perception of reality. He retreated to a remote monastery in the Himalayas, a place where seekers of truth had gathered for centuries, seeking solitude and silence to process what he had experienced. For months, he remained in contemplative isolation, his mind a vast landscape where the boundaries between past and present, myth and history, began to dissolve. He meditated on the implications of his discovery, understanding that the serpent's withdrawal was not a tragedy, but an invitation. Humanity had been given the tools, the knowledge, the potential to continue its own evolution without external guidance. The myths and legends were not lies, but encoded wisdom, waiting for humanity to mature enough to decode them. He spoke to himself in the language of symbols, his thoughts flowing in serpentine patterns, spiraling inward and outward simultaneously, exploring the paradox of a truth that was simultaneously ancient and eternally present. Marcus emerged from his retreat, not as a revolutionary seeking to overturn established history, but as a humble custodian of forgotten knowledge. He understood that the truth could not be forced upon the world. It had to be discovered, remembered, awakened within each individual consciousness. He began to write not academic papers, but allegorical narratives, weaving the story of the serpent and the sun into contemporary tales that resonated with the deepest archetypes of human experience. He established a small, discreet organization of researchers and seekers dedicated to preserving and carefully disseminating the knowledge he had uncovered. He created a series of symbolic artworks, each one a meditation on the relationship between humanity and the cosmic intelligence that had guided its development. His final act was to return to the hidden chamber beneath the Sphinx and leave behind a carefully crafted manuscript, written in a cipher that only those with sufficient understanding could decipher, a message for future generations of seekers. He understood that the serpent that carried the sun was not a relic of the past, but a living presence, still guiding humanity's evolution, still waiting for us to remember our true cosmic heritage. As he looked at the sun setting over the desert, he felt a profound sense of peace, knowing that the myth was never a myth at all, but a truth waiting to be remembered. What ancient memories lie dormant within your own consciousness, waiting for you to recognize them as echoes of a forgotten reality? And if you liked this story, you will definitely love the next one that's appearing on your screen. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, leave your like, and activate the notifications. See you in the next one, the end. Copia.